Hi, this is for IT 120, and it is for SQL for testing the co-op database. So that's not what I want to do. I want to look at this. And the first thing that we need to do is to open a query tool. Right? So all the SQL takes place in this query tool, and we can write our queries here. For instance, if we want to see everything in the person table, and I did it by right-clicking on the database itself, I'm going to do select asterisk from person, all right, with a semicolon. So select is what tells us that we want to look at it. The asterisk is if you want to look at everything, and the from, it tells what table it's from, so it's from person. This triangle runs it, and down here we can see all of our people, right? So here's all of the people that are in our person table with all their information. If we want to see them in a particular order, this is in the order that they're entered, we can do, I'm going to do a second one here, select star from person, and we'll do order by last name. Okay, and then a semicolon. And to run just this one, we can highlight this, execute, and then notice that it's B, B, C, H, J, L. It's all in alphabetical order by last name. And if we wanted to do this but in the reverse order, I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to add one more word to it, though. I'm going to add descend, right? And now it's in by order, reverse order by last name. Okay, so we've got a few words here. Select from, order by, and now descend. Couple of things about basically SQL. You should look at the slides for SQL in the modules, and you should look at the video too. But basically, it is not case sensitive. So these are traditionally all uppercase when you do them in prose, but it doesn't have to be. I don't do it here because they're color coded. These are the keywords. But it's not case sensitive. You can do things by, you can space them how you want. Like that is just as good as this. If I were to run that, it has exactly the same result. So you can break them where you want to. Make that however works for being readable. So what we have with the asterisk, you always have to show all the columns, and you have to show them in the order that they appear. What if I only wanted to see their first name, last name, and email? I could just do select, oops, have to spell it right, last name, comma, first name, comma, email. And then you still have to say from person. Okay, everything has to be spelled right. The commas have to be here. No comma after the last value. So this time we will only look at some of the columns. Low, George, and down here you can spread that out if you want. All right, so it only shows the columns we want to see. All right, so I want to real quickly, and if you want to do a comment, it's two dashes, and I'm going to say, we're going to look at the where keyword. The where, so far we're still looking at all of the data in the table. We're limiting which columns we want to. Here we're ordering them by how we want to, but we haven't decided which records in the table we want to see. So I am going to show, so I'm going to do select, again spelling, And we'll select everything from inventory. Where, and this is where the where. So where, and we need the units. This is the column. So from the table inventory, where the column, and these have to match the names in the table, where units equal, and this has to be single quotes. Right? So we want to do where the units equal pounds. We're only going to look at those things in inventory where the units equal pounds. See how they're all pounds there? Okay, so the where lets you limit which rows you're going to look at based on a criteria. And again, the single quotes is key. It has to be single quotes. I'm going to do another one with a date. I'm going to say select star from inventory where expiration date equals, and I just want to show you a date is also quoted, and the typical way to do it is the way the date shows up here. I'm going to do 2020-12-31. So those things that expire, oh, actually I don't want equal, I want greater than. So the ones that expire after 2021 or 2020. So things that expire later than the change of the year. And we have one, right? The sunflower seed is good beyond the end of the year. Notice that that's greater than, right? You can compare. We have equal to, you have greater than, you can do less than. I'm going to do one for so I'm going to do a star from inventory where price per unit is greater than 3. Now the 3 doesn't have to have a quote, right? Numbers don't have to be quoted. Dates do and words do, but numbers do not have to be quoted. Okay, I also want to talk about nulls. So I am going to, a null, let's just do this. A null is an unknown value. Okay, it is not 0 and it is not an empty string. All right, and you can't use it for a calculation. You can't use it for any kind of comparison, right? You can't compare nothing to something. So you need to use the keyword is. So I'm going to do select asterisk from person. So we're going back to the person table where the phone is null, right? So I'm going to do, we're looking for where there is no phone number. And I think it's gone because I fixed it. I thought I had unfixed it. But there is one person originally. So I'm going to show you a couple of things that aren't in the script. So I'm going to go back to select star from person. And originally Suhan did not have a phone number or an email. Or she just didn't have a phone number. So this is something that anticipates what we'll do later, what I already did when I was testing this. I'm going to update person, set phone equal, set phone is, or I think it is equal here for this null, where person ID equals 8. This is not in the script and this is extra. This is just so the other one will work. All right, so now when I look at this one, we get Suhan, and there's a null there because it's not known. So I'm just going to comment this, not in script. All right. And if you want to see where things are not null, so for instance in address, supplier addresses. So let's do select star from address. And again, I don't know that I have this, but we'll run it. Okay. So notice that most of the address ones are null. So we could have looked for nulls there, right? Most of the address ones are null. There's one that is not. So the way do you find out how one is not null is you do select star from address where address 1 is not null. Caps again are not necessary, but and it shows us the two that are not null. So null and not null are important ideas. All right. So it's going to take a while to get the hang of this, and you'll find that you have lots of typos initially. Again, spelling is crucial. Everything has to be spelled right. You can break these up however you want, as I said before. This is perfectly acceptable as well. All right, so I'm going to talk about joins, and we're only going to worry about inner joins for now. There are other kinds of joins, but we're only going to worry about inner joins. When you look at the tables, you'll see there are lots of things that are not joined. For instance, you might want to see the addresses, or, well, let's see what I have here. So let's see who the members are, right? Because not all the persons are members. Most are, but not all. So I am going to select the member ID, first name, last name, and email, and the date they last renewed. All right. So a couple of things to know about this. This is from the member table. This is from the member table. These three are from the person table. So I'm going to choose one of these. I'm going to do from person first. It doesn't matter which table you do first, but it has to match. And then I'm going to say inner join co-op member, which is the name of the member table. And then I have to say how those tables join, and that's what the on does. So person table, the person ID is equal to or joining the co-op member person ID. Person ID is the primary key here and the foreign key in co-op member. So it's what brings the two tables together. You have to tell it how it joins. And when I do that, I can see the member ID, the first name, the last name, the email, and the last renewed for each of the members of the co-op. All right, so this is a join. It brings the information from two tables together. All right, that's really useful. And you can do this for as many tables as you want. You can have inner join, inner join, inner join for all of the things. So I said that I would do number 6 in the video. So let's look at number 6. So I am going to go back to here real quickly, and we look at the assignments, and this would be for test data with SQL. And number 6 says list the names and start dates and job types of all employees. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to PG admin, and I'm going to push this in as a comment. So let's do this. We will select, let's do the employee ID. Last name, first name, start date. Let's look down here. I'm going to look at the employee. And so we got person ID, start date. So that is correct. And when we look under job type, there's a type name. So let's do, actually I think I want that one there. You can put them in whatever order you want, but it makes sense, I think, to have there. So that's the type name and the start date.
We need to leave in a few minutes.
All right. So, a couple of things here. So we do from, let's start from person. And then we're going to inner join person, or we're going to inner join employee. On person dot person ID equals employee dot person ID. All right, and then we need to join, and this might not be so obvious, we need to join the part where it brings the employee together with the job. See how it's a linking table? We have to use that linking table. So I'm going to do inner join employee job, and it's going to be on employee dot employee ID equals employee job dot employee ID. And then we need to do one more join on job type. On job type dot job type ID equals employee job dot job type ID. And that should bring together the employee, the start dates, and the job types of all the employees. So I'm going to bring that. We'll run that. What did I type wrong? On the last one, job type ID. I forgot the I. All right, so let's try it all again. So this means it's ambiguous. So I need to say, because it's in more than one table, so I need to say employee dot employee ID. And I spelled first name wrong. So you could get all of these kinds of errors. You just correct them and you run it until you get what you want. There are the employees, and there are their job types, and there are the dates that they started. All right. All right, the last thing we're going to focus on are updates. So these updates allow you to change existing data. All right. So we did an update by accident because we didn't have that. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing, except this time I'm going to put the phone number back. So I'm going to update person. So you always update a table. I'm going to update a person. I am going to set a field. So I'm going to set phone equals, and I'm just going to give it a kind of a random phone number, 555-7878. And this is crucial. I'm going to do where person ID equals 8. If you don't do this where clause, what'll happen is it will basically do it for all of the table. Everybody would have that exact same phone number. Right? So if I just ran it from here over, which I'm not going to do, but if I ran it just from here over, everybody would have that phone number. It's a way to get fired. So I run this. Okay. And now if I select again from person, so I'm going to just do a select star from person. You can see that person 8, she's actually there, now has a phone number, and it has the phone number that we added. Okay, so update allows you to change existing persons. Again, if you don't do a where clause, you will update everybody. Everybody would have exactly the same phone number. All right, so let's do a couple more updates. I'm going to do select star from sale detail. So we're going to look at the sale detail table. Okay, so what I want to do is actually to update inventory to reflect the units that have been sold. Okay. So what I'm going to do, we can do a quick select star from inventory too. All right, so this is where you have the quantities. These are the quantities of things. The sale detail reflects what quantities have been sold. All right. So I am going to update the inventory. And I'm going to set quantity equals quantity minus 3, because that's the amount for this sale, right? Where inventory ID, this is the inventory ID, equals 1. Again, the where is crucial. All right, so before I run it, I'm going to look at inventory again. Notice that there are 20 units here. Okay, that's the quantity. When I run this, it says that it was successful. I'm going to look at inventory again. And we can see that for inventory ID 1, it is now 17. Right, so those 3 have been subtracted. And again, this is part of the last part of the assignment, is where you update the inventory to reflect the sale. IDs, just be really careful that you always have the inventory ID for the quantity that you're resetting. All right, so I think that's it for this video. Have fun with this. SQL is kind of fun. And good luck here. So